you get woo. Yeah, exactly that. Exactly that.
Hi, everybody. My name is Wilfred Lee from The Artist Journey, and today I am here and welcomed with a very amazing, fascinating artiste by the name of Izanami. So, thank you so much, Izanami, for coming to today's podcast episode.
Thank you for inviting me. Hello, everybody.
I've been following your work for a while online. I think what was been fascinating was last year we've had such a huge surgence of AI synthesis work, images and art and whatnot. I find your work to be very, very fascinating, very distinct and different. It's also because of our relationship with words and like our own references and things that we inspire ourselves and stuff. But before we get into that a little bit, I would just love to know a little bit about yourself, you know, just who you are as a person. So if you could just let people know or the audience know just a little bit about who you are and who is Izanami.
I come from Paris. Um, I studied history of art in Sorbonne University
Hmm.
in Paris. Yeah, the art is with me since I'm a baby, to be honest, because my mom is a very good artist. She never tried to be professional, but uh, she passed this passion to me. So yeah, my mom is the guilty one in all of this. And so I studied history of art, and I moved to another country. And where I am is very art is not has no value, to be honest. There's a few galleries. There's nothing like to work with.
Mhm.
So I just abandoned this art thing. Um, so I had a lot of works. How can I explain that? And one day, I had a stroke.
Mhm.
I had a stroke. Before the stroke, I have to say that I was a piano player, classic piano. I used to draw a lot. I was very good at it. To paint, to do animes, comics, photography, and I was a makeup artist. So as you see, art is in my blood, everywhere, every pores. and
Yeah.
um, and one day I had a stroke because I have a brain tumor, and I got my hand paralyzed, my right hand, and a bit of my leg. So I got into a big depression.
Mm.
I have no shame in saying that I attempt suicide. Today, I feel free to talk about it, and I'm not ashamed because I'm not the only one who had this awful experience. Thankfully, something very peculiar saved my life, and it was AR, augmented reality.
Cool.
And it was very funny actually because when I was in this depressed mood. It's not a mood, but whatever.
Mhm.
I used to spend my time with my phone. My phone was my only friend, and I started to play with Snapchat filters, but the Snapchat filters were not my kind of aesthetic. So I searched on Instagram, and there was like very few creators, and I started to talk with some of them, and I became augmented reality influencer. Like it happened so fast, it was crazy. I was just curating the filters of these guys.
Hmm.
And my account exploded, and it was so funny to do. And suddenly I realized that, whoa, wait, where is my depression? Where did she go? It happened like that. And one day I was so jealous of them that I was like, okay, I want to learn how to create filters.
Mhm.
And so my first filter was about mental health. And it exploded. He had more than, I think, 2 million of users on the first week, if I remember well. It was crazy. A lot of artists wanted to do something with this filter.
Hmm.
Like a choreographer made a dance about it. A makeup artist did recreate the filter on her, and a very well-known makeup artist.
Mhm.
And I was like, wow, this is fantastic. So I started to create filters, and one day I had a mail from Facebook, Meta, and
Yeah.
yeah, and they chose me upon 400,000 creators. They chose me to be part of the Spark AR network. They chose 100 creators, exactly 100. And yeah, they chose me, and I was, wow, like things changed. So, I was in a hole, a deep hole, and suddenly I'm emerging, and that was something so good, so good. So I kept on creating filters, beauty filters, because I have no skills at all to create amazing things. So I stuck with the beauty filters. And yeah, and I got uh yeah, I'm gonna be honest, there was a lot of bullying and even worse. And so I got discouraged about it, to be honest, and I found AI. And how can I say that I was happy with AR, augmented reality, but AI completely changed my mindset.
Hmm.
And that's the story.
That's so fascinating. First of all, thank you so much for sharing your story. I think that's very important. I think it's a lot of bravery, and there are a lot of people who go through a lot of depression and feel like they are in a hole, in a wall, and in a well so deep down that it's so hard for anyone to even know that they're there to get out. Um, even for myself, I've suffered um, sometimes from like mental illness and from depression, and it's one of those invisible illnesses in a way too, right? Because it's not like you're trying to show outwardly that you're depressed. Sometimes you're so good at hiding it that people don't even can't tell, and even if they do, they don't say right. Depends who they are. Depends, they won't say right out if you need help or anything. It's a very challenging thing, and I remember when I was in high school, like one of my darkest times. Definitely felt suicidal that time. I remember reading a book, and one of the sentences that really helped me was just a sentence, but it said, um, the more self-destructive you are, the more you need to know how to save yourself. It was like there was an opposite. There was a huge spectrum that I realized I was feeling at that part, that somehow if I would able to kind of get through it, I would be able to understand the other side of this. And to understand that range can help build more empathy or understanding when talking to people, much more deeply than many people may realize. And maybe it is some of those nuances and things that kind of come out through your work, but even from your art history, your family, influencing, in terms of art or just doing something as a mean of art, I do see a lot of that stuff in your work. Uh, really cool to hear about the AR and AI transition. I think we're going to jump back and forth, but I'm just curious, have you ever thought, or are you working on anything with a combination of those two, with AR and AI?
Um, no, I thought about it, but it's two separate things for me in my heart,
Mhm,
because AR is a, is a, is something that we change of the reality, uh, like VR. VR is different. It's all the reality around you. And that's something that at first it doesn't bother me, but now it does. I don't know why. I'm trying to understand. And this started since I started with AI,
mhm,
because I think that AI turned like my best friend, because thanks to I can express myself again the way I want, because I lost my hand. I cannot draw anymore. I cannot paint anymore. And with AI, uh, I can use all of my abilities, intellectual and knowledge about art and other things, into AI. With AR, I couldn't do that, and it was so frustrating.
mhm.
And with AI, it's like I can breathe again. I can ba, let's do this, let's do that, you know.
Yeah.
And it's so liberating for me. And that's why I have this smile, this nonstop smile, like for 2 months, because I really can put out what I feel, even if people said that AI is created by a machine, blah blah blah, and the pictures are have no feelings, whatever. For me, it has, because the feedback I have is so incredible, and I can people understand what the message I want to put on what I do with AI. So that means something, and that makes me so happy.
100%. And I think that's the type of work, even outside of AI, that resonates the most. There's a lot of artwork that's not AI that doesn't resonate with anybody at all when they see it. It's just this emotional connection you have. And I find it fascinating how that works. Don't know how. It's just a deep connection you have with someone random, but there's like maybe like a sphere of influence, just the things that you grew up with, all the pop culture references or music, fashion, all of those things somehow will connect with someone else. And I think that's the thing that can be like a line to connect people. For myself, even before AI, just it was only like a few years ago, I was always drawing, and then I realized it's much more deeper than that for myself, at least. It's more like I'm not just an artist, I'm just more of a storyteller. And how can I create a story in anything that I do, whether it's for drawing or writing or music or anything. That's the thing that people are kind of drawn more towards. And then later on, I was thinking, oh, if there is a way for me to connect with people on a collective unconscious level, because there's certain pieces of artwork that exist in the world for whatever reason, they still exist in like the modern world for, after all these years or centuries or decades. And there's a certain type of quality or a nuance or a history. And it's just connected to us individually and as a whole. And I don't know necessarily how to do that yet, but I know that feeling. So I just try to keep focus on that feeling when I'm creating something, and hopefully that kind of resonates out. So
And I
with
can see that. I saw the first time I talked to you is the when you apply the AI as a filter on you, and I asked you, can you teach me how to do it? And and I felt something so strong and so much anger, like a type of anger you were keeping inside of you, and I found that was fascinating. So yeah, I totally understand what
Mhm.
you, yeah.
Yeah. And it even goes sometimes for acting as well. Like acting for film or TV, you have nothing really just but your emotions, and for some reason people are drawn to that. And it's one of those things too where you're confessing so much of your deep or darker self to the world, but hiding at the same time, but
Yeah.
putting it out in a different reality, which is what we're doing. That that's what people connect to the most. That's why I still feel there's a lot of truth and art in AI and in how we use it, and it's the the people and right and how they approach it and create things out of it. Since the beginning of using AI to now, how many images would you say you've done?
Oh my God, I don't
Everyone does the
know.
same face. Don't worry. Is it over 10,000?
I think so, yeah.
At least over 10,000, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
When I talked with Dougie, he did over 100,000.
No, but Dougie is crazy, okay? This guy is crazy.
And it shows, right?
And it shows exactly.
But
Uh,
that's why we love it. And
exactly.
I
No, but he's like his mind is his own, and
yeah.
everything he does is so, yeah, he's so funny. And yeah, I see him as a little child, who is expressing his deep fears as a child, and I see him as a child. It's funny, but he's so funny. He's crazy and funny.
Totally. And I mean, the reason why I asked that is because um, there's something about someone who just made 50 images so far or 1,000 compared to over 10,000 and more. I feel like sometimes there's certain stages you go through while you do AI art. In the beginning, it's just like everything's amazing. You're just exploring, and then you just share like 50 of the same thing, 50 variations. Like it's so great. But as you go through that, every day you're thinking about ideas. Every day, you hear something on the radio or the TV, or you watch something, and that influences you. Maybe sometimes you have like a document and you have all these prompts that you're saving or refining and stuff like that. I'm just kind of curious. Maybe we can talk a little bit about the beginning stages of what it was like for you using AI, and what's your relationship with it now since then.
So, so I was kind of lost at first because the first thing I thought was I have to find my style. So I tried for I don't know how much time. I was into jewelry with AI,
Mhm.
and I wanted to do something very. I don't know if it's because I'm French, but we have this particularité, this thing, clean things, a bit crazy, a bit French. And the jewelry I was creating was that very Art Nouveau,
Hmm.
um, very like fine art.
Yeah.
And I was bored, so bored, because I want to express myself. I didn't want to create to create. I was like, okay, finally I found a way to express myself. Now I'm gonna do it. And I met two, three guys on AI that I call my masters. uh, there's that thumb. If you okay,
I know that
this
fan,
guy
yeah.
was the first because the thing he was doing, and he does incredible things, but at the first beginnings of AI, you know how it was difficult to create something good. You had to make a like a giant prompt to make
Yeah.
something cool, you know. And he was the first person to help me, to tell me try this, try that, and it changed everything in my work.
Hmm.
So I evolved. I tried so many things, but I was still trying to find my thing. And I found another person that helped me, but more emotionally. Uh, and finally, I met Jason. This guy is Jason for me is like he's so creative, and he made horror things or robots, but in a way so perfect, so I don't know how to explain, so detailed, so everything I love. So I started to talk to him, and even today he's my best friend around here. I'm not gonna lie. He taught me so many things, and what I created evolved like so fast. And I started to study more, like about lighting, about camera angles, about so many things that I was prepared to go to Hollywood, to be honest. I studied so much, researched so much about that, that I was like, okay, hire me. I know everything about that. and and so once I found all the things that I needed to create something cool. uh, I started to apply everything I know, everything I studied, everything I learned, and apply on all of this. And
Yeah.
today I can say that I found my style. And my style is something very detached, from the reality, but at the same time very attached to humans. Because I don't want, as I say at the beginning, I don't want to lose this human side of technology. Um, so yes, very detached, but attached at the same time. Very dystopian, um, and dystopian because I can put something very human, very I can put feelings in a dystopian landscape, because there is nothing around. So the thing that I'm gonna put inside has to be very meaningful and very full of emotions and feelings.
Mm. And I think that's great because uh, even with a lot of filmmaking, the most popular things these days is like sci-fi or fantasy. A lot of people the characters are in a surreal, otherworldly environment. The thing that brings it down is like the human aspect, the story of the people, the relationships,
Yeah.
with the environment. So it's great to hear that you're finding your style or your calling. And who knows, like I'm sure it's going to continue to evolve, right? Just like as we do as humans from this stage in our life, and maybe few years from now as well.
Well, the thing that worries me about AI is the evolution of AI. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
like I use Midjourney essentially. I use DALI. I have a DALI group on Facebook, and it's very interesting. It's completely different, the approach
Mm-hmm.
of Midjourney. But Midjourney has evolved so quickly that it kind of lost some things I used to like in Midjourney that I don't find anymore. I know it's easier and everybody can use it, but I think it's too easy now, and I'm afraid it could turn boring for people, because it's so easy um, that everything that people do can look alike, you know. Uh, but I talked about that with some of my colleagues, and I think the most important thing now is creativity, to break all of this, you know, because it's true that lately I'm not criticizing because I make, as you see, a Star Wars thing. I'm a huge fan, but more and more we see a lot of Star Wars because people like it. So okay, let's go after the likes. The more I will have likes, the more I will be known in AI, and that's totally wrong. You know, it's not like that. It's not as I work. I love to have likes because it boosts me to create more. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna be a hypocrite, but we have to create not with this goal, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And yes, we see more and more Star Wars or Marvel, DC Comics, and Disney things. And I'm a bit sad about that because with this tool, you can create so crazy things. And I think there's a lack of creativity. Um, and I hope with the time, people will keep on pushing the barriers and be more creative because yeah, there's so many cool things to do. Even me, you know, I found my style. I think that I make different things. I'm very happy about it, but uh, I'm happy but not satisfied yet.
Mm-hmm. Totally. And maybe you bring up a lot of great points about creativity. I remember the founder for Midjourney, David Holtz, he mentioned that it's more about, even Imad said this too, the creator for Stability, Stable Diffusion, about it's more about unleashing or unleashing the imagination of people. And the thing when we first use it for the first time, or someone who maybe is doesn't have a background like ourselves, they just know pop culture, and they'll probably resort to that first as a fan, most likely, right? They'll just do a whole bunch, and maybe they just need to get that out of their system first, you know? And because it's so easy and it's open source and free for everybody, that we just see so many people now using it. It's very common to see, oh, like that's, you know what I mean? Like the first 100 images of everybody now, it's just so oversaturated. But then when you see something that really stands out, you can tell people have put more work into it because they had all that experience of taking all that stuff out. They're making something unique. And it's true, right? Like we don't need to just keep making Marvel comic universe characters or anything like that when you can make your completely own IP now in a way. You know, you can make your own distinct story or bring up stories that you've always been working on for a long time and haven't had the chance to do it until now. I'm curious, has there been anything that you were working or developing before AI in terms of stories or anything that you want to put in, or is this just kind of going with the flow, see how it
Yes,
is? Very much with the
yes,
flow, yeah.
very, very. But before I start something, I have to be honest that sometimes, like everybody, I have a bad days, and I'm very extremely unfortunately, I'm very extremely sensitive. So what happens is that if I go out, I'm the kind of person who always look at others and try to make someone that I don't know, try to make this person smile, try to touch people because I need that in my life. People say that I'm extremely I'm too much. I'm too much. I'm too needy. I'm too sensitive. But I think it's so important right now, and I have for me human is so important. Because as I say, I passed through death, and believe me, the only thing you think about is not the travels you made, the money you made. No, it's about people, the people you love, the people you gave love. So for me, it's important to create with your feelings, with the things you see around you, you listen to, because it's not just about the people I meet or touch. It's about also music. For example, the other day I was listening my favorite pianist ever, Rachmaninoff. I'm such a big fan. And Star Wars. I have
Sure.
to say,
Yeah.
the thing about Rachmaninoff and Star Wars.
No.
If you listen closely to Rachmaninoff, you will see that a bit of a piece of Rachmaninoff is a Star Wars soundtrack. Whatever. And like I started. Actually, it's funny because I was listening to Rachmaninoff, and suddenly I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do a Star Wars series. I was so focused, and Rachmaninoff is very heavy, an heavy sound, very deep emotion, dark emotion, aggressive emotion, and I started to prompt, and I made the best set ever. I never had so much like and shares, and like it was people got crazy over it. So it happens with music. If I watch a movie, it's the same thing, but it has to be related to humans, to emotions. And as you see, the set of Star Wars was not based on oh, okay, Star Wars, sci-fi, woohoo. No, I was listening to Rachmaninoff, and this guy, and I hope you will listen deeply. You will understand that this guy was a genius, and i- genius in exposing so many things, so many deep things, and that's what I want to people look at my things and think, wow, I felt it, you know. That's only the only thing I want, to be honest.
Rachmaninoff. I will definitely check him out.
Yes,
Uh,
it's the best.
are you really into soundtrack music? Into like piano concerto work? What kind of music are you really into?
Actually, I was a piano player, so
Mm.
everything Rachmaninoff para mim is para mim. Sorry, I'm talking Portuguese, English, French. um, for me, is the best. I have others I like Liszt. Uh, my two favorites, but Rachmaninoff is like my man. But I listen. I'm a metalhead. So yeah, I know it's weird, but I'm a metalhead. But I grew up with two men that taught me what is music. So uh, at a very young age, I'm 42, by the way.
You look fantastic, by the way.
42.
Yeah.
Thank you. And and I start to listen to Dire Straits, Tina Turner, Queen, so many cool things. And these two men uh, got me into concerts very young. So I grew up with that, and I grew up with music because my school was about it was a musical school, and I sing also. I used to sing opera and R&B. I ended to sing oh gospel, sorry,
Wow.
um, blues, gospel, soul, R&B. So music is very important in my life,
Hmm.
very. And since I had to stop the piano because of my hand, I'm not gonna lie, it was hard as hell, and I cannot go to a instrument shop, for example, because it's very difficult to me. And if I go to a piano concert, I cry all the time. I
Hmm.
cry. It was one of the only passion I had.
Hmm.
um, but yeah, music is everything to me.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And you also mentioned, how much you love Rachmaninoff and heavy metal. I think there's a lot of connection to those two as well, right? I feel like a lot of people who are into heavy metal, there's like the rhythms and all the type of like intensity that you can get through orchestral music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't stop in these styles. I listen.
Mhm.
I'm an 80s kid, so I stayed in the 80s too.
I'm same. I'm an 80s kid too. Yeah. We're
So like yesterday, I was totally into Roxy music. Yeah, I listen a lot of traditional music too. Mostly Asian traditional music.
Hmm.
And I'm sorry, I'm having blanks today. I don't know what's happening. Music and Arabic traditional music.
Mm.
First, Asian. To be honest, I have Asian roots. I don't know where because it's a secret kept in the family, but it was confirmed. And I always had this fascination about Japan and um, and China and everything
Mm.
in Asia, India, everything. And the Arabic part, I think maybe it's because my parents are Portuguese, and my father is from the south of Portugal, who is totally Arabic. And also because I grew up in France, and in France there's a lot of Arabic music influence, you know.
Mm.
Uh, so yes, that's the kind of music that I listen a lot, to be honest. Something that makes me travel, something that can make me give me boosts and makes me cry. It depends of my mood every day, to be honest.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's very very important in my life. Always did, and always will be.
Uh,
Always was.
and it
Sorry.
should be, right? Like music should be in everyone's life. And yeah, what's fascinating about music too is it has its own space in it. It's like when you hear a song, doesn't matter where you are, it will just like cover its atmosphere everywhere around it and stuff, and then you're in that space. It breathes in a way, which always felt very.
And it's ours, you know. It's like you steal this music just for you. You keep it, and you
Hmm.
own it.
Hmm.
It's so our, you know. I feel music like this when I put something of Rachmaninoff, for example. I'm sorry, but I'm in love with him. And I I like it's as you say. It's I don't know the name, but it likes music can hug you, embrace you, and be part of yourself in a, I don't know how to say, in a protective way. It's like the music can speak to you and say, "I'm here.
Hmm.
I don't go anywhere, and I'm here if you need me." It's kind of maybe silly to say that, but that's the way I feel music. Yeah.
I mean, in a way, it always does compared to other forms of art because the the vibrations, they just penetrate through your skin, through your blood and your bones, and it just hits you inside, right? And it's a lot like love or attraction. You have no choice whether you do like it or not. Like when you hear it you've never heard it before, and then suddenly you do, and then you realize while you're listening to, like, oh my god, this is going to be my favorite song of all time. And considering we're both 80s kids, like how hard was it to find a song back in the day? I would have to like record it on a tape and listen to it, hit
Yeah.
record, and slowly write it on like a list of all these different things. I had
True.
I had at the time there was no repeat. So I would record the same song, like 12,
And
15
with the
times.
pen, with the
Yeah, you
pen
have to
and
like
the
wind it
tape.
up. Kids have no idea how hard we had it last time before.
It
But
was good.
was good. We worked so hard for our music and everything else. Um, but it's interesting too, how we're both 80s kids and we've actually seen how all of these technologies have been evolving since then. It's a completely different world. It's crazy. And
But I miss that. I miss that a lot, and I try to. I know it's impossible to not go with the flow and to not go with what's happening. It's impossible. But I have a boombox, and I put my cassettes, and it's like vinyls, the vinyls. Uh,
yeah,
ah,
vinyl record. Yeah.
records.
Yeah.
I have a ton. I have a ton, and there's nothing that compares the sound of this to a CD or whatever, and it's like just the pleasure to take the record, put on the thing, take the needle. I call that the needle.
It's the
and
needle. Yeah.
yeah, okay, fantastic. And to put upon the record and listen to the you know for me it's everything. And I know that at the same time I have to go with the flow, and that's something that annoys me, to be honest. Like my mom, she has this phone with the touch, the pads,
Mhm, the screen.
and I'm like, you should start to practice on my phone, because in 1 year or two, your phone will not exist anymore. And I understand that, and it's so difficult to evolve. For me, it's difficult. I'm not gonna lie. If I could, I would stay in my 80s, 90s,
Hmm.
because that's, for me, the best era, regarding music, regarding cinema, because I'm a huge fan of cinema too.
Hmm.
And there was respect. There was not social medias, because I hate social medias. I know I use it, but I hate it. To be honest, I hate it. You have no idea. And I'm not gonna curse right here because I'm respectful. But the things I see every day, for me, it's disgusting. And yeah, I'm not gonna talk anymore about that, because I'm gonna transform into Hulk, and you don't want that.
Uh, hey, I'm ready for all the things. I'm okay. If anything, you'll turn into Pink Hulk, not into green or anything
A cute pink Hulk.
like that. Um, well, let's talk about a little bit of maybe. I'm sure a lot of people who are into AI themselves who maybe would love to hear just a little bit about your workflow. Like, what's that like? Um, I know you mentioned before, like you really, to help you a lot, you really did study a lot about film and cameras and lenses. And it's been interesting how the evolution of the prompt already has been changed so much, with the beginnings of just getting anything to work to, people fighting for their rights about how to use it, and also just to get the right type of quality or nuances and stuff. And even for myself, like I'll have the idea that I want, but then I have a rig that I put on it, or like a bunch of lenses or things like that. But I'm just curious overall about what's your workflow like, and maybe even some recommendations you might give to other artists out there who are interested in improving.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand the end.
Oh, maybe you can share a little bit about your process for people who are interested in learning and wanting to improve.
Oh, my process. That's what I tell everybody, because everybody every day I have at least 20 messages asking my prompts. So I don't share my prompts, and I'm honest about it, because first I don't want people to do the same thing as me. I don't want to. But the main reason, to be honest, is that it doesn't take a lot of time to research about basic things, and that's the thing. I think internet, everybody has it. It's easy to find anything you want. And yes, I talked about learning about lighting, camera angles, because at the time I was making behind the scenes of all the like classical movies, like Goonies. um, I made Gremlins,
Gremlins.
Back to the Future,
Mhm.
everything. Uh, and I had to search, because I didn't understand how to place, to have this effect on this or that or whatever. So
Mhm.
the research is super important. And um, and I said that to everybody: try to read more. I know that reading is a pain in the butt, but try to read something, at least like a thin things, a poem or whatever, or a quote, like a philosophical quote, something that touches you. um listen, look what's around you. Look what someone behind you can feel, or how this person can look at you, what this person could hide behind the eyes. That's the thing I do a lot, to be honest, because it allows me also to imagine, to create a life for this person. uh, when I see somebody sad, I will have this automatic thing about creating something funny, and maybe share it with this person, to make her smile. uh and it's inspiring, and it helps to create. It's little things, but it's so important. And I know people will see that as yeah, she's all into philosophical things and blah blah blah. But not it's no it's not it's so simple. It's about, and I'm gonna repeat it, it's about human, it's about feelings, it's about what is around us. the rest the rest is technical. That's it. And the technical part, you go to internet and you find it
Mhm.
easy. But focus on that. For me, it's too much, too important. And that's how, I mean, look at the biggest artists in this world. All of them, the for me, the geniuses, they kill themselves, or they have like weird stories to tell. And why? Yeah, their life, it's about their life, it's about how they felt, it's about humanity. That's it. How did they create this fucking, oh sorry,
It's
Oh,
okay.
sorry.
No, hey, by the way, we're allowed to swear on this podcast, so.
Okay, cool. I'm French, so yeah, perfect. um, they they were inspired not by oh yeah, I bought a house today, so I'm gonna write a song about it. No fucking way.
Mhm.
And that's people don't understand that nowadays people create anything for to have a certified account on Instagram or TikTok or whatever and have likes. And numbers nowadays are a status. And I think it's like so sad. And they create for money. That's it. And if you create with the intention of earning money, earning status, for me, I know I'm gonna offend a lot of people saying that, but for me, this is not being an artist. I come from Paris. We have this romantic vision about art, and I keep this vision. It's how I see art. It's feelings, it's love, nothing else. It's not money. Of course I need money to survive, but I don't give a shit about it, you know? I just need to buy my medicine, to eat, to pay the bills, but the rest I don't give a shit. I just create because it's a legacy. It's the way people will remember about you, you know? It's
Mhm.
not about, as I said before, it's not about the your travels, the money you have on a bank account. No, it's about like the Moulin Rouge movie. It's about that beauty, love, and that's it. That how I see art. I'm sorry if I offended someone, but if people would create more with their art, I think we could see so many beautiful things, and I think the world would be better.
Mhm. And a lot of great points. I think there's a big emphasis these days, maybe for younger generations, for clout chasing, looking for clout. And that's just because they were living inside the social media era of of the world and stuff. And even going back, it's really important to kind of get back into certain stillness once in a while. I'm the same way too. I have a vinyl record just because for my son, he's never had that before, and I never had one before, but I always wanted one. I'm like, this is the perfect time to probably do it because it's that whole ritual, like you were saying before, putting needle, putting the thing there. There's a system of things, and also with yeah, with prompts in general, it is about the idea. The idea is king, as some people would say. As long as you have a really great idea, then you can add all those different things later on. There's a lot of great books. Maybe I could probably share later in the descriptions, but a lot of great tips, and you can even ask GPT. I mean, like if you really wanted to, just to get some ideas. But I found sometimes even some of my most interesting ideas were just experiments or mistakes sometimes of I would like scroll through social media, and I'm a cinephile just like you. I follow a lot of random social media pages, and then there would be one of, for example, Donnie Darko, and I'm like, oh, I love that movie, and then it has a screenshot, and then it has like the emoji of the camera, and it says Donnie Darko, and it has a quote from that movie, and director, blah blah blah. And then I looked at that even, and I took the entire emoji and the prompt or the sentence, the copy, and I just put it into Midjourney, and it came out really interesting. It was like early Midjourney, And like, oh, this is great. I don't even have to just write what everyone always does all the time. I think a lot of early people are just, they're so concerned about creating the beauty of something, but also how, like, all the technical things behind it. I think maybe because it's predominantly male. I think it's like a male thing that happens sometimes.
Yeah.
It's just like, how does it's like a car engine. Like, what do you got under that hood, bro? Or even if you're as an artist and you're drawing, and then if someone will say to you, what kind of pencil are you using? What kind of pen are you using? It's like the last thing you want to hear is like, you don't want to roll your eyes behind your head, like, oh God, here we go. But it's sometimes people who are starting off or don't have that kind of experience, they're just thinking of all those things on a very superficial surface level. And that's what they see in your work, because that's the last results, but everything underneath all that process to get through, is kind of not shown. So I definitely kind of feel what you mean by that. And um
That's
it's
funny because I didn't want to talk to talk about that because you're a dude,
oh no,
but
I mean, I'm a dude, but
it's
it's true. It's the reality too, right? It's like mostly males that are using it and stuff is, and there's a lot of bias too, and like the models that we use as well. There's a lot of issues, like, even though we both, like, just like you said, you're a fantastic creator with using all these different things, but there's a lot of pros and cons in everything that we do, right? So I think we're very cognizant of that, but also be very respectful that people are just trying to be happy and creating beautiful things in any way they can, right? Because
but you know that it's funny you talked about that because before I showed my face, um, people thought that I was a guy, and it's funny the approach. They treated me like I was a guy is totally different that how they treat me now. You know, I was feeling that before it was like, yeah, you dude, yeah,
hey, bro.
yeah, your work is cool. And now I feel there's more respect, but at the time it's like, oh, you a girl and you do that and I can't. I don't like that. Yesterday I received a message like that, and I thought it was very funny. He said, "Hey man, great work, blah blah blah." And I said, "Thank you, but I'm a girl." What? You a girl and you doing this? That it happens a lot, and it's not cool. I'm having fun with that because I'm kinda I behave like a dude. I love to hang around dudes because for me they are more interesting than girls, to be honest. I learn more with dudes with girls. I'm not the kind of person who let's talk about clothes and nail polish and everything. And no, I don't have time for that. um, and yeah, it happens a lot. But after that, they like calm down and that's really good work. But they talk like, oh, with manners, and I think it's so funny.
I think that's common actually in the community. There's I'm not sure if you're familiar with Suri AI, SURREAI. Her and a few other AI artists. There's Proxima Centauri, way before last year, in when there was Disco Diffusion. They were doing a lot of the training tests where they would be like a garden, lily pond, and then they would put an artist name, and they did hundreds of these tests, and it was a huge um change for the community because they were doing all these tests, and Surya never posted anything about themselves with their gender identity at all. And then but Surya is still amazing. So funny that she has some of like my favorite tweets on Twitter. She'll like show me your artwork and I'll roast the shit out of it. And then people just show me like she goes, "Oh, this is boring as shit." Like she has like a very witty and like very punk rock attitude to her and stuff. But kind of like just like yourself, it doesn't really matter like what you're. It's just like I guess another bias that tends to happen when people are just creating stuff, And I think what's helpful is at least is that when we create this stuff, it goes beyond the gender bias. They just see the work speaks for itself, and sometimes it grows to become more than who we are, even though it takes so much of ourselves, to put into it and stuff.
But you still feel the I don't want to be mean, but it's true. You still feel a kind of machism,
Mm-hmm.
uh, because mostly when I do like dude things, because it's a dude thing. um, I feel that it's almost like, hey, do your girl things, don't do our things. But anyway, I do what I want, so. But it's funny to have this perspective, and I know, and I like a few girls who for me make like amazing things, and I think unfortunately that if you want to stand
Stand
off
out, stand out.
of everything, the girly things don't work. I noticed girly things are like, yeah, you know it's how I see. It's not my opinion, it's how I see people reacting to that, and it's a shame. It's a shame. And yeah, to stand out, you have to do like things that boys like. It's a shame, to be honest. I do that because I'm a nerd and I'm a geek, and I don't have any social life, and I'm happy with it. My refuge is animes and comics and everything that boys like. Maybe that's why I get along with guys, uh, and that's why I do a lot of things like that. Like I love making cyborgs, uh, like Star Wars is my um, and I won't stop. But I know how to do girly things, like the Star Wars set I did. It was like also a kind of test, because it's so feminine, you know, so feminine. But it worked. Why? Because Star Wars. And lately I'm making a few tests about how people react. I think it's important too, to test the viewers. Um, and I'm happy about it, because in this set there's everything I like. The art aesthetic, the old museum art aesthetic, the girly side with the dresses and women, and my passion and my geekiness, um, and that's important too, to put in your work everything you like. It's kind of difficult, because at the end you want to be appreciated. Nobody makes everybody has a ego. It depends how you treat it. You treat your own ego, but don't come to me with this shitty thing about, oh no, I'm so humble and blah, blah, blah. Nobody is humble. Nobody. Everybody likes to listen to oh, good work. Oh yeah. So no. At the end, we do it for that also. The only thing you have to do is to measure it, and don't think you are a rock star. No, this thing, I don't like it, and that's why I handle things with the funny way also,
Mhm.
because I don't want success. I don't want to be known. I just want to be able to people give me the chance to share what I do. Um, and that's why I would love to expose. I had a proposal lately to expose in France, so we'll see. Um, but that's what I want to do, to be like the little kid who used to go to the museum, to sit on a bench,
Mhm.
to look at something and wow, what did you think when you made that? And why do I feel this? Why do I feel that? That's what I want.
Mm. I definitely feel a lot of people resonate with that, and when they see your work, it clearly has uh, a lot of emotion, and it's so great too. Like looking at your work now, it's and sometimes it could be one thing that's completely different than another, like some type of a cyborg mech, standing in front of a car behind France, party, and then the next one is like a homeless Mark Zuckerberg or something. Sometimes when you're working with Midjourney, you're working on a one path, and then something weird happens. Maybe you might go that way, and then another weird thing happens, and you realize, oh, I have like 3 series I can do right now, or you know, go
Like
towards
the
that
Mark
way.
Zuckerberg thing. It happened, I remember it was funny. I was trying to do to create a Canva um made with the wool of or hair, like make the Mona Lisa, but only with the wool of hair, or something with the texture. I was like prompting the hell out of it, like, "Ah, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it." And I couldn't do it, so I stopped, and I opened Facebook, and I saw an article. I won't tell what the subject was, but I was so mad because it's always the same subject that makes me mad. It's the policies of these big companies.
Hmm.
There are rules for the little people, and no rules for the stars, and this is something for me that and I was like, if these guys could be in our skin but worst, I would love to see that. And I start to prompt about, yeah, let's make them homeless.
Social commentary.
And that's it, but it's like in a lot of things I do, it's a kind of a French thing, criticizing society and open your mouth about injustice. A lot of things I do are about that, but mostly is about stories, about living, about feelings. Uh, and I think people can see the difference. Uh, when it's about feelings and things very deep, the style is always the same. I don't know why, but the style is always the same, and it's this kind of style you can see behind me. When it's about critics or just a reminder, like look at what's happening right now. At this point, I don't care about the style. I just want it to be visible and clear, like my voice. Yeah, that's what how I create, I guess. But you know, I think about what you say, and maybe it's confusing for people because of the variety, because it's very random sometimes, and I'm conscious, but at the same time, I want to show what I can do, you know, because as I say, I really want to be able to expose. That's my goal.
Mhm.
I'm being honest with you. That's my goal. I want to expose, and a lot of people, mostly musician and writers, ask me to make the covers, CD covers and book covers, and I want to show what can I do. You know, uh, I don't do only this. I can do this. I can do that. It's like a portfolio, you know. But I'm aware of what I really like to do, and I think my signature is recognizable. That's what it's important to me. But I want to show people also that with art, with AI, they can express as they want about what they want. And for me, it's a good way to express the anger I have sometimes about what's happening in life. And instead of cursing and say fuck you, fuck that, I prefer to create peacefully and to express my fuck you through images.
I think that's a beautiful quote. Express the fuck you through my images. That's what we should all. I need that on a T-shirt, legible, preferably. But
Thank you,
that's
I guess.
it's totally valid. I mean, for myself, I would say I'm a bit introverted, so I'm not going to be saying what I really think all the time, like so openly. But I probably do through with my art, you know, and I think that's what maybe some people could probably maybe resonate or see through that. But I think that's great. And you know, variety and diversity in work, I think is good. I think it just shows that you know you're not limited to one particular thing or subject matter, and I think that's why we tend to see, like, again, we're going to like the MCU universe or anything like that, but you know we're just exploring so many different things. The whole experience of doing these things, I was talking with someone else before, was how AI works. You know, it's just like static, and then it slowly comes into an image, and you have to just type in the words to kind of figure out where you're going. And the more opposite extreme words you put together, the more of an interesting space, latent space, location that you're traveling towards. And I don't feel it's very parallel with drawing, because it's not drawing, but it's very close to the sense of photography, where you're going into a space you don't know where exactly where it is. In fact, you can't see anything. You just kind of walk around, maybe you might hit your foot on something or your elbow, like, okay, there's something weird, shiny, gooey, who knows? And then you just do this 4 pieces and you get something, and then oh, okay, and then you might go somewhere completely different.
Yeah, like that's exactly the same thing. You know, like when I was a photographer, I used to go to concerts, metal concert, to shot the bands. And yeah, I used to have 2,000 pictures, and I had to choose. Yeah, to choose the best, the thing that okay, that's the thing.
Hmm.
And with AI, I'm gonna be honest. I don't want to brag, but so far, every time I prompt something, I have exactly what I want. I don't know if it's luck, but it happens. It happens so much that my fast hours, I never use it.
Everyone's like, what? Never past hours?
It's so annoying because at the end of the 13, I look at my fast hours and I'm like, man, 5 hours still. And no, because I don't know. It's like I talked about that with my friend Jason, and it's incredible. It's like this fucking computer has a microphone somewhere and listen to what I want because I am very expensive,
Expressive.
expensive, uh, not that expensive like talking.
Yeah.
I talk a lot. I talk out loud, and I don't know if it's because I talk to my computer and I said, "Okay, today we're gonna do that with this color, and like that, and this background, okay." And at the end is like, oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, girl, that's the thing. So yeah, but it works like a bit like photography. Yes, yes.
Hmm.
It happened with some sets I made, and yeah, you make a lot of generation, and you choose the one you want to keep. That's it. Uh, personally, and a lot of people who follows my page, they tell me, look at these hands, and look at this, and look at that, and it's not perfect, blah blah blah. Okay, and what about don't like perfection? I don't like perfection. I think it's boring. uh like if I'm in front of a picture, I want to travel in it. I want
Hmm.
to be in it, to travel through it, and to find something that I'm like, oh, I didn't see that. That's quirky. That's funny.
Mm.
What's the point in doing something so perfect? And I'm not criticizing him, but it's how I see things. It's so funnier to to stop and wait. What's that? Wait. And that's for me, that's beauty. Like flaws for me are beauty.
Hmm.
And again, it comes to what I told at the beginning with humans. If we were perfect, like boring, like we are so different, and for me it's so beautiful.
Hmm.
Not only from a character view, also a physical view, you know like like people that know me, always say that you don't like men with I don't know, like with these features or with these features. And I don't give a shit. I love people. I love this in people. Ah, but he's not looking good. I don't give a shit about that. Also, I like I like faces. I like looks. Uh, how someone can look at you. What can they express by looking at you? The smile, the gestures. I'm very into gestures. You know. That's why I'm always looking to people extremely. I love to see how they express, and yeah, that's the thing. I'm sorry, I'm boring.
What are you saying? No, you're not boring at all. I think it's beautiful what you said, you know. We have to embrace all types of flaws. That's the imperfection that makes us perfect for somebody, you
Yeah.
know. And it's so ironic sometimes too, where we hear a lot of traditional artists say that uh, this, you know, they'll always point out on the hands of, or like the mistakes of the AI, but you know, the beauty of traditional art is the imperfections that an artist puts onto it and stuff. It's still all about the imperfections and stuff. Even for early mid journey, I kind of like that stuff still a little bit. We're like
Yeah,
the
me too.
DQ there's something innocent, naive about it. It's not 100%, but there's some quality about it that I still kind of deeply admire and enjoy. And um, I'm hoping for this year that, you know, people will embrace AI much more than towards the end of last year. But and it's also because of how people like yourself or Jason or Dougie are really making something out of it to stand out and show people the human side, whether it's the humor or you know, our deep passions with music or fandom or anything like that. But there's still ways to connect, and the more that we evolve with technology, that there's no need to feel like we're losing our humanity. That's the most important thing. We're all concerned about that. We all want to hold on to it as much as we can, and the more that we experiment with these things, right, the more that we can kind of show them this is, we need to experiment, we need to explore in order to do that, because if we don't, then that's when we're going to lose all of those type of things, I think.
That's exactly a conversation I had with the. I won't talk about that, but what happened with the anti AI and everything. I had a lot of threats, like violent threats. I had the opportunity to talk with an artist, an Italian artist, very good. He didn't know about my life because I don't feel the obligation to share what happened to me for people to understand why, for me, using AI is so cool and important in my life. But this guy, when he calmed down, he asked me. He took the time to ask the right questions and the why I was using AI. When I told him, and I told him about my health issues and my life, and he was wow, wow. Really, it's not personal. It's just because I'm frustrated. Because when I see what you do, it's like wow. And I told him, yeah, but you can do wow too. Like I was looking at your work and I'm wowed. So what's the problem? At the meantime, I didn't go to DM you insulting you. I admire you, you know. And I told him, like, I would give everything, anything, to be able to grab a brush in my hand and to paint again, because I know what it is. I know what's the smell. I miss the smells. I miss the be sitting on the little chair and have the canvas in front of me. I miss the smell of the acrylics, the gouache, the oil painting, the I don't know what you call that in English, the vernis,
Mhm.
the all the mediums I use. But most of all, I miss looking at it at the end and say, I did that with my hands. At the end, I told him, now I feel the same. I know a machine did that. Okay. But the result I wanted, the thing I wanted to express, I have it with the feedback of the viewers, of the people that stop and look at it. So if people can feel it, it's the same. And I don't know what happened, what he thought about that, but he was very, very calmer, and at the end he said, yes, now I understand. And it's a shame that the other artists don't understand that. I'm a lot the transhumanism thing. I know it's controversial with what I did before, what I said before, the evolution, the machine, and everything. But at least it helps people like me. And believe me, there's a lot of people in the same situation as me that are, they have handicaps, people that lost fathers, mothers, sons, people who are depressed. I talk with people like that every fucking day. And AI is allowing them to get out of the hole. Believe me. Lately, before Christmas, I discovered someone that I like very much, a man who creates, who use AI, and he told me he lost his son, and he was an artist before. He lost his son, and since then he cannot create anymore. And now he can with AI because it makes him travel further, further than his own hand. And for me, it's so beautiful. And I love this side of the technology that really helps people, you know? People, a lot of people lost family, lost, like me, this is my hand, this is my normal hand, this is my hand that I lost, that's how she moves, okay? Having a tool who allows me to do this, that's happiness, pure happiness. It's like you are in a tunnel. The light is very far, and suddenly it explodes. Your heart explodes, your head explodes, and you Finally, you know, that's how I face AI, you know.
Mhm. So I think we all need to give people a chance to get out of that hole, right? And to really find the beauty back sometimes that's been lost for a very long time. And I do hear a lot of traditional artists say like it's art is one of the most democratized things in the world, and so is everything else too, like all forms of creativity. But why not AI too then? You know, that's it's there to assist, to help. And again, it's also unlocking a different type of creativity we never really had to try to explore before too. And I think it's also just an interesting relationship with the rest of the world. I mean, a bit philosophical, a bit woo woo, but um, I just find it fascinating. The thing that really got me into AI at the beginning was this concept that if we're getting all these billions of images from the internet, you know, and the internet is a representation of us, all the good and the bad, and then we just put it into a machine and we're able to just kind of talk to it, you know, communicate what we want to see and then get a visual representation of that. You know, it's an interesting dialogue or conversation we're having with the rest of humanity just from the internet. And whether there's a lot of bad things or in there as well, we're not all just kind of searching for any of those type of things. We're looking for beauty in many different ways. And even in the dark kind of aesthetics too, we're still searching for the most beautiful stuff. You know, the fact that there's still a lot of different religions that coexist together, and you know they're all trying to find beauty in their own way. You know, like there's still a lot of room for coexisting. There's still a lot of room for people to create and to be happy. You know, people are afraid that, you know, they're losing money from all these things, but the world is so big, everyone could do all of those different things. You know, like we have to give hope for those to make sure they can get the opportunities that, you know, we lose. So
I'm sorry you get woo. Yeah, exactly that.
yeah.
Exactly that. And you know, uh I'm talking about handicapped people again, but art art should be all of the people in the world should be able to know what art is, you know. And the thing that so many people cannot draw, you know, and with that they can create something. And why not? For me it's so important, you know. if if tomorrow, if tomorrow AI was able for me to create music again, like piano pieces, and I believe it will happen, you know. And this has to be shared. I think a lot of sorry, a lot of traditional artists that I don't see most of them as artists are kind of selfish, because art is to share with the world, you know. And so AI allows people to do that. They can, people that don't draw, don't know how to draw, can create. And for me it's so cool, you know. It's so cool. um I couldn't anymore, now I can. it's so fucking cool. And yeah, I will defend this with all my heart, because I know how it is to be an artist and have to stop and have no resources to keep on creating. It's like killing someone for me. So I'm so thankful to have AI. And if you allow me, I want to share something. It's not about Mid Journey, but it's about Dali. Um, as I say, I'm an administrator of the biggest Dali page on Facebook. And I was invited by the real administrator of the group to help her in the group. And I started to create challenges, like to boost the engagement in the page. And the Dali team uh, was so cool that we had a meeting with them, and they decided to go to give credits to the three winners of each challenge I create. And I was like, it's so cool. And Dali made something that melt my heart. They create a financial support to people that wanted to try AI. They gave it to so many people, and they are very into helping people who have handicap, uh, uh, people, the thing with races and genders. They want to show off their work, uh, to help these people to develop, to create more. And that's my little shout out to Dali, because I love the initiative, because they care about this human side.
Mhm.
So Dali, thank you.
Dali, merci.
Merci.
Yeah, and examples like that is really important, that we need to start building this foundation now for AI, because it's still a baby. It's still growing, even though it's growing super fast. It's
Yeah.
like how we laid this thing for a good, positive community, having conversations, making it engaging for all types of people. And it's also, the AI community is one of the most collaborative art communities I've been a part of so far, you know, because sometimes traditional art or other types of forms like that is very isolating. You're doing a lot by yourself. Still, you can go with a lot of people here and just run ideas and share and create beautiful things together, which is just as great too. Uh, Izanami, I just want to say thank you so much for this conversation. It was everything and anything I could have hoped for. I'm very grateful for you to kind of just share your story about your life and what you do. And I'm just so excited for people to kind of listen to this. Before we go, could you just let people know where they could find you online? What's the best place they can visit your work or just see more of your stuff?
Okay, so first of all, I have my Facebook page called Izanami Art. It used to be Izanami AI Art, but with everything that happened with the 8 and everything, I just delete the AI for the moment, just to avoid more wars. So do you want all the link? It's www dot facebook.com / call me Izanami.
Okay.
On Instagram, it's I don't know how the dash. It's that no
Say
the
at.
No, the little
Underscore.
underscore,
Underscore.
exactly.
Yeah.
So it's call underscore me underscore Izanami.
Okay.
But on my Instagram, I don't put everything.
Oh, okay.
On my Facebook page, I put all the sets because there's a lot of images. And in Instagram, you just can post 10 images. So, yeah.
Okay.
But
So
that's where you can find me.
great. So if people want to see like more of Izanami's work, check out on the via Facebook on Izanami, and then a lot of more selected curated pieces or Instagram at call underscore me underscore Izanami. Again, thank you so much, Izanami. It was fantastic, wonderful talking with you, and I can't wait to see more of your work, and hopefully we can talk again more in the future just to kind of catch up and see how things have changed since we last talked.
Whenever you want, it was a pleasure to talk to you too. And I love you and I thank you. I'm very grateful for you to give me the opportunity to share with the world that AI helps people. They can help people to get out of bad things. So thank you for inviting me. And I have an eye. I keep an eye on you because I love what you do, and I will like bother you until you teach me what you can do because I need to learn too. And yeah, thank you again. Thank you,
Great.
thank you.
Yeah. So thanks everyone, and after this, Izanami and me, we're gonna just be talking shop.
Bye,
Bye.
people. Peace, peace, peace.